Hey guys, how you going? This is Billyeatworld, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Dragon Priest archetype. This is a deck that's become really popular since the release of TGT, with the addition of new cards like Wormrest Agent, Twilight Guardian, and Chillmore. If you've never heard of this deck before, well, the list that I'm using in this video is actually Brian Kibler's list, which is probably the most popular variation going around. If this list doesn't suit your playstyle though, don't worry, there is a bunch of other variants you can choose from, including lists for players on a budget. So what is Dragon Priest anyway, and why would you want to give it a go? Well, for a start, it's probably the most viable dragon deck in the game. The basic strategy is to play the heavy board control game and outvalue your opponents with high health minions until they eventually run out of steam. Cards like Twilight Guardian, Wormrest Agent, and Blackwing Technician are all great for this playstyle, and if for some reason you do lose the board, you can always fall back on Light Bomb and Holy Nova. The only real disadvantage of this deck is that you don't have a lot of burst and a lot of direct damage, so it can be hard to finish off control decks like Handlock and Control Warrior. Now, generally this kind of deck is fairly easy to play, and in most cases you'll just want to keep the board clear and your own minions alive. The way to do this is to make value trades whenever you can, and to not be afraid to use your hero power on minions, even if you're behind on health. Another thing to remember is that spells like Power Word Shield and Velen's Chosen need minions to work, so try and play around removal spells and weapons on key turns. For example, it might be safe to drop a Northshire Cleric against a Paladin on turn 1, but it's always safer to play it with a Power Word Shield on turn 2 if you're up against a mage. Another important tip is to make sure that you have an understanding of the big legendaries your opponent is likely to drop in the late game. For example, cards like Ragnaros or Dr. Boom can be dealt with Light Bomb, but you'll want to try and save a Shadow Word Death for cards like Tyrian Forgery. The hardest cards for a priest to deal with though are the 4-attack minions, especially the ones with high health like Ysera and Malagos. If you think a deck is running one of these, you'll want to try and save the Shrinkmeister Cabal combo, but if worst comes to worst, you can always fall back on Velen's Chosen and Shadow Word Death. Now, I think the reason Dragon Priest is such a viable deck at the moment is because it's so good against all the aggro that's flooding the meta. It's also really good against Druid, which can't handle the high health minions, and it's a pretty even matchup against Secret Paladin and Grim Patron. Like I said though, it just doesn't do that well against heavy control decks, which you're likely to see a lot more when you get to higher ranks. For grinding out the lower ranks though, this deck will do amazingly well, and should allow you to bypass most of the frustration that comes from face matchups. Like I said before, budget variations of this list are still pretty viable, because most of the cards that make this deck good versus aggro are fairly cheap. You will want to make sure that you include 2 Twilight Guardians in every build though, because this is one of the key cards that stops early aggression. In the late game, you can definitely run Nefarian and Chromagus in place of Ysera and Chillmore, and some lists even sub out the Light Bomb and the Cabal. You will be slightly weaker against Patron and Control decks if you do, but it still works pretty fine and the deck is still viable even up to high ranks. But anyway guys, that just about wraps up this quick review, so let's head over to some live games and you can see how the deck plays out for yourself. Don't forget though, if you do like what you see, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And until next time, see you later and have a good one.
Anduin versus Uther.
I will fight with honor.
The light shall bring victory.
Okay, so Paladin, this is probably going to be some sort of stupid secret Paladin or something like that. The Cleric's going to be pretty good because on turn 1 and 2, the Paladin can't really do much about it. So I probably am going to get a few cards. Blackwing Technician will be pretty good if I draw a dragon. So that's the dragon we needed. I think worst case scenario right now would be that he played like a mini-bot, coined out. But I mean, with this guy on the board, I think there's probably a good chance he just passes the turn. Alright, so he is going to coin out a mini-bot. Now, this is going to give me a free card. And I think the only thing we really get punished by next turn is Muster. So, hopefully he doesn't have it. Fortunately, I do have a Nova in my hand for turn 5. He just coined out the mini-bot, so he's not going to be able to play a Quartermaster on turn 5. Turn 4, I should say. I wonder what he does here. I wonder if he just hero powers. Yep.
Reporting for duty.
So I'm just wondering whether I'm going to fall too far behind if I go for another card draw. Oh, I think I can probably manage one more. I do have a few comeback mechanisms in my hand. Well, that's pretty good too.
Job's done.
So next turn I can Worm Rest and heal, which is pretty good. I can drop the Twilight Guardian as well. I think we're sort of saving up here for a good turn 5 Nova. So I need to taunt in some way, shape or form here. Alright, so that could be like an Avenge. So if it is, I want to be wiping everything in one go. In which case, I'm probably just going to Twilight Guardian here. Now, to just put one of these things out, it makes me think it could be like Repentance, which would be a bit of a problem. So maybe I just Twilight Whelp and then Dark Cultist or something. I mean, it's not the best, but maybe we test for Noble Sacrifice first. So it's not that. It's probably... Alright, so it's not Repentance. So I could probably play this guy or this guy. What is he going to play next turn? It's turn 4. So he can True Silver that down. Maybe I play this guy instead. Paladin generally has a pretty hard time against Dragon Priest. Because Paladin is all about gaining control of the board and keeping it, and so is Dragon Priest. Blessing of Kings. So I'm thinking that that is definitely an Avenge. Now I can Valens here, which would kill this guy for sure. It's probably going to come back now that I think about it. It's probably Redemption, right? I mean, even if it is, it's not a big deal. Do I heal or Worm Rest here? Probably heal. Because then he can't Consecration both of them down. I need him to try and play Muster or something like that. It's obviously a Secret Paladin, so I am expecting a Mysterious Challenger at some point. Now, he's already played Redemption. So I think whatever I do, I have to play Dark Cultist on this turn. Now, one of them is probably going to be Noble Sacrifice, right? So this is a bit of a problem. I think maybe what I have to do, if I Nova here, it does 3 damage. This guy will get hit and he'll have 3 health.
I must consider.
So this will be Avenge for sure. I have to hope that it hits this guy. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Okay, so that worked out the way that I wanted it to. It was a little bit of a risky play.
Reporting for duty.
Wow, that sucks. Do I just Nova again here? I can even power word shield, and then I save this guy. Yep, let's do it. Just power word shield and save this guy. Alright, that's pretty good. Okay, so I have to expect like a Dr. Boom or a Challenger at some point. Most of these decks also run Tyrion. Okay, so he's probably going to regret that. And I think I'm going to start maybe dumping cards here, because Divine Favor is just going to wreck me. Now that the Equality Consecration's out of the way. Normally these Secret Paladin decks don't run double Equality, so I should be pretty safe from here on in. I might just go crazy with taunts. Try and limit the amount of cards he could potentially draw.
Reporting for duty.
Okay, so I'm sort of getting the feeling he doesn't have a lot in his hand.
You think this is funny? You think this is funny?
I'm just trying to clear the whole board because some of these Paladin secrets, like Competitive Spirit and that sort of thing, they're a real big deal if you leave minions out. I mean, Avenge is relatively easy to play around if there's only one minion on the board.
Who am I?
Alright, so there's the Challenger. I don't think it really matters. One of these is going to be Noble Sacrifice. So he's on 13. I think he's dead, yeah? So I can do 5 here, 5 here. With Valens, I can do another 4, so that's 9, 10, 11, 12. He's on 13, so I am going to be 1 off. And one of these is going to have to be Competitive Spirit, right? I'm wondering, do I just go for it? I think I probably do. So this will be the Noble Sacrifice. That'll boost one of these guys, but I've got enough taunt that he won't kill me in one turn, so... Alright, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna, I don't know, see what happens. Cabal. I'll just go for it. Actually, I will change my mind about that. It is going to be Competitive Spirit, so... Yeah, I don't think he can possibly win this now. I just sort of changed my mind at the last minute because I thought there's no real point pushing all of that damage. The only thing that really kills me now is Equality Consecration. And the fact that he's attacking sort of shows me that he doesn't have it. Oh no! Are you joking? No, he doesn't have it.
Reporting for duty.
That is kind of weird though.
The victory is yours.
2 equalities in a secret paladin. That was a good game though. And as you can see, I don't really play any priest at all. Still only level 27.
Anduin versus Gul'dan.
Okay, so
Who shall be mine?
this should be a pretty good matchup
Bring victory.
as long as this guy is a zoo. If he's not, that could be a bit of a problem. I've got some good early game minions, which is good. Shrinkmeister. That's a good sign as well. I think we just have to assume it's zoo, because if it's handlock, we're going to have a hard time. Yeah, it's zoo. So that's what I want to see. So we're already ahead because of this Shrinkmeister. That was a good draw.
Let us see if this
So, Light Bomb, yeah, it's a pretty good draw, I guess, if we get behind. A Holy Nova would be a lot better. I'm looking for things like Twilight Guardians, Worm Rest Agent, Shadow Word Pain would be good as well. Chillmore is really good. Basically everything in this deck is sort of like anti-aggro. Do we even worry about trying to kill that? I don't think we do. I can kill it this turn, but I spawned 2 little dudes as well. So I think maybe I just go all out.
mocking me.
Smack face. I want to try and build a board advantage from the early game. Because we do have a lot better draws in the late game. So we can just heal this guy, take out this guy. Oh, that's pretty good. That's a really good draw, actually. I needed that.
Is someone injured?
So we take out this guy. Then we take out this guy. Or do we just... Yeah, we take out this guy. Heal this guy up. Kill this guy. And then kill this guy. So, I think the only bad thing would be is if this guy runs Hellfire, which is so not standard for Zoo. So, if he runs Hellfire, then we're dead.
Why do you call?
Oh. I wonder if that's like an overcommitment. Can I kill that? No. Oh, I can kill it if I run these guys in. And he doesn't die either, so yeah, let's just do that.
This is funny.
So as you can see, I'm just sort of like dominating this Zoo player. They just can't deal with the early game minions. As long as you get a good draw, well, a good enough draw, it doesn't even have to be a great draw. Just as long as you've got something to play in the early game. So a Cabal would be a good draw right now. Blackwing, Corruptor. So I think I'm just going to probably limit the ability for this guy to get any value off this egg. I'm going to kill it now.
This is funny.
Let's do it like this. Because usually when it comes to Zoo, it's the things like the power overwhelming swing turns or the Argus swing turns that get you. And if you can keep the board clear, even by like the slimmest margin, then it's usually better off. We got like endless card draw here. Lothab. Oh, that'll be probably pretty good. That'll completely stop him from Implosion or Dark Bomb or Hellfire or whatever. And I think that'll probably just seal up the game. You can't come back from this point with just minions alone.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
Thank you. And now I think we're just waiting for him to concede. That's it. Let's see what we get. Drawing all the cards. Oh yeah. Let's just like maximize the BM. So many cards. Like how many more cards do you want? Well played.